He leads us all the way, playing proper football, the Sheff United way. Ale, 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 ale.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sheff United Way. And tonight, I'm going to be reacting to Sheffield United 0, Cardiff City 1 at Bramall Lane. And as you can tell, I'm doing this video as soon as the game has ended. So clearly, I am not at Bramall Lane. And the main reason for that is because I only had a baby a few days ago. And I think if I said to my missus, I'm off to Bramall Lane in the freezing cold all on my own, I think she'd be a little bit worried for me and also a little bit annoyed that I'm leaving her with a newborn baby. But yeah, all's good. We've also just moved house. As you can tell, I'm in a different room to what I'm usually in. It's very, very dark. It's very, very grey. Still got the awards up here, though. You've got to get them in somehow. But no, all is good. Fantastic time at the moment for me. Maybe not so much for Sheffield United, especially not tonight. But we move, don't we? We move. We've obviously gone and lost this game at home in the FA Cup. Cardiff absolutely dominated us as well from start to finish, or not from start to finish. The second half, we had a lot of the ball, but we just did nothing with it, really, did we? So, yeah, I've never seen a Cardiff City side come to Bramall Lane and just be so dominant. Maybe a Neil Warnock side when they got promoted one time, but I still thought we were more than value for some points on that day, especially. But today we were just really poor from start to finish. But we'll get there in a second. I'll go through the starting lineup and what changed in a moment. But I just wanted to say a quick shout out to the sponsors of this live stream. It is, of course, Panenka Bar and Grill, the greatest bar in the world, situated extremely close to Bramall Lane, and also the greatest band of all time, Parrot Peel. They're my favourite band, and yeah, even more so than Five and Boyzone, I would say. So yeah, keep doing your stuff, Parrot Peel, and we really appreciate you sponsoring the channel. Anyway, let's get into talking about that starting lineup. Let me get it up on screen because I'll be honest, I can't remember it off the top of my head because it was such a wild one. I think most of us actually expected a lot of changes, like a hell of a lot of changes. And there were a lot of changes, but also there were a lot of players in there that I weren't expecting to see at all. Like Brooks, for instance. Brooks is just coming into his own again. And I really expected Wilder to not risk him in this game. I think that suggests that Jezren Raksake is on the mend and on his way back. My nephew showed me somebody putting it on their story, whether it's Harris Campbell or someone like that, saying hinting that Jezren Raksake is back very, very soon. So maybe that's the reason why Andre Brooks got the nod tonight. Also, Burrows playing in the midfield. That was a wild one. Did not see that one coming. I just didn't expect Burrows to be playing at all. I expected McCallum to play, but not Burrows, and certainly not both of them. But I don't hate both of them playing. And Gilchrist, wild one, seeing as though Sariki's injured, seeing as though Shackleton's injured. If Gilchrist got injured tonight, maybe Baptiste at right back. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, let's have a chat about this game then, because from literally I've got minute 4 down here. There was a free header from point blank range, a great ball into the box. I'm not sure who lost their man. I think it was Baptiste, and a header which Adam Davies did really, really well with. I think Adam Davies had a really good night tonight, bar one moment of madness right towards the end. But if you've watched the game, you'll probably know what I'm referring to, and we'll get there in a little bit. In the 6th minute, Cardiff absolutely mess up a one-on-one that looked like it was destined to be 1-0. Obviously, they scored literally 12 minutes later, but this should have been 1-0. It was a great move from them. I think it was Ashford maybe that did a little flick past Baptiste. Hard to remember all these names. He flicks it past Baptiste, a really, really good flick. And then they're away. And it's a ball that's played across the box to, I think it's Colwill. He backheels the ball to Atete, and he side foots this wide, and it's a really, really good opportunity. And Cardiff City fans will be ruining that, or they probably thought they'd be ruining that mistake. It's a really, really poor miss when Adam Davies is stranded, really. He's on the floor. He's committed himself to that right-hand side where Colwill was going, and obviously reversing it and backheeling it to Atete. I think everybody expected this to hit the back of the net, but it goes just wide. The Blades get away with one. But like I say, not for much longer. In the 17th minute, McCallum gets down that left-hand side, beats his man. A lovely, lovely smashed cross into the box, but that's cleared away. It's kind of hacked away by the Bluebirds. And the fact that me talking about a cross that nobody got on the end of, I think that just signifies how little we had, how little we had in that first half. Second half, like I said, we had a little bit more than that, but certainly in the first half, we created next to nothing. And then literally a minute later, Cardiff City go one ahead with Reece Davies making an absolute hash of a ball play back. It was, do you know what? I've watched this back and watched this back and watched this back, and the ball goes into Bruce's feet. He looks like he's going to play it into Burrows. He decides not to take that chance. So he gives it back to Reece Davies, who's in oceans of space. Davies has loads of time to just lay it into, I think it's McCallum. Must be McCallum on that left-hand side. He's got loads of time to lay it into him, unless it's... could be Bruce. No, it can't be Bruce. It must have been McCallum. And he just waits and waits and waits, and he's like, right, it's gone now, that. So I need to turn back and try and pass it backwards and sideways as we did for most of this game. And it gets caught on the ball. They're away, and it's a great finish from Ashford. Adam Davies gives him a lot of that front post to aim at, so he just obliges and just rolls it past Adam Davies in the front post. But really, really poor from Norrington Davies. And I think you can see that he's not played a lot of football. And then he got injured later on in the game, which that's been the story of his recent career, shall we say, because I don't think he picked up too many injuries in his first few seasons, because he obviously had that really good loan at Luton. And I think he had a pretty decent loan at Stoke too. But since he's come back to Bramall Lane, he's really, really struggled. And it's not good to see. It's not. I don't mind Reece Davies. I'm not a massive fan. I've never really been a massive fan of Reece Davies, if I'm being completely honest. There's no point in lying. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And again, it's a really, really poor error. It's a sort of error. I think it was Robinson against Burnley, I think it was, a couple of seasons back when we beat them 5-2. It was so similar to that, where he just took too much time on the ball and then goes to pass it either sideways or backwards, and it just gets nicked off him. It's really good play from Ashford, but really, really poor from Reece Davies. And to say that he is a senior member of the squad, it's really, really it's something that he shouldn't be doing. Whether you've got one game under your belt or 500 games under your belt, that is just a bit of a schoolboy error. And actually, yeah, you could probably say that it is an error that somebody makes when they're not match fit, and he's clearly not. But these are the games that you need to play in to get match fit. But we might not see many more of them from Reece Davies this season if that injury is anything to go by. But it's not good to see. He's certainly somebody that would step in at centre-back if we needed one. And yeah, we've only really got two centre-backs. So, yeah, it's not great. And to be perfectly honest, I thought him and Baptiste looked really, really ropey. All that first half, at least. Second half, it was a little bit easier because we had more of the ball than they did. But, yeah, really poor from both of them. I thought they both had a shocking first half. McCallum wasn't much better, giving the ball away quite a lot. Gilchrist waited until the second half to give the ball away at will. Gilchrist had a really, really poor second half as well. But yeah, it's the 20th minute. We're moving into the 20th minute. It's a great move from the Blades with Brewster losing his man down that left-hand side. He just drops his shoulder and he's away. It's fantastic. It's ends up coming out to Gilchrist on the right-hand side. He puts a cross into the box and it ends up on Louis Marsh's head. And it's a bit of a looping effort that's going towards that far corner, but really, really simple for the goalkeeper just to grab. In the 22nd minute, Billy Blacker, who I think had a really good game tonight, not many players impressed. I thought he impressed, and I thought Ryan One impressed, if I'm being completely honest, especially in that first half. I think Ryan One looks completely different when he's not playing with the senior team. Yes, this was with the senior team, but a lot of these players are players that he's come through the ranks with. And I do feel like when you see Ryan One playing with Harmer, O'Hare, Raksaki, these sorts of players, he's almost scared to bully defenders. That's what I've noticed from when Ryan One is playing. But having watched him playing for the youngsters, he looks like he's trying to bully the players. He's looking like he's going to flick the ball on and then dart in behind. He's looking like he wants to run with the ball, attack, and have a shot. And tonight, I thought I saw a little bit more of that from Ryan One. But when he's been playing in the league, it's almost like there's so much pressure in the league, and then the pressure's completely off when it's a cup game or an under-23s or 21s game, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, I thought he had a lot better game tonight, but I was talking about Blacker, and Blacker steals the ball from Perry and G. One salvages the ball, lays it into Blacker, who flicks it to Louis Marsh, who goes for that front stick. He has a go. The keeper saves it well. It's a good strike, but it's way too easy for the goalkeeper. I thought their goalkeeper played really well tonight. Horvath, he got a 7.8, which is close to being man of the match. He came second in man of the match after Ashford. But he had a really good game, the goalkeeper tonight. But if I'm being completely honest, every shot that he saved, he probably should have saved. There weren't any that I thought, wow, that's an incredible save. But it was certainly better from the Blades putting those kind of chances together. And it's not all about, finding those 15 passes and then creating an opportunity. Sometimes you need to be hassling, harrying, and just pressurizing defenders and midfielders into making mistakes, because Cardiff was certainly playing out from the back, and they did that a lot. And actually, they lost the ball a fair few times, and you can see why Cardiff are near the bottom of the league. I think if this was our full team, we'd have taken them apart. But I'm pretty sure that they had a few changes to their side too. So I'm sure this wasn't a full Cardiff 11, but also I'm pretty sure that this is Sheff United, as far from Sheff United's 11 than Cardiff's 11. So yeah, I can understand why we've lost in this game. I can understand why they were the better side by far. In the 38th minute, Brewster gets the ball from distance, fires, but again, it's a fantastic strike, but it's straight at the goalkeeper. It's always straight at the goalkeeper when Brewster hits these amazing shots. And it was loads of power, seemed like it had a bit of swerve. I didn't really see it because I was watching it on TV and it's kind of side on, so you can't really tell if it's got that bend and swerve on it, but it looked like it had. And that is sort of Rhian Brewster's calling card, isn't it? Hitting those shots from distance like that. And one of these days, one of those is going to go in. And I hope it's before the end of the season, because I have a feeling that next season we might not be seeing too much of Rhian Brewster, or maybe not at all. But 46th minute, a really, really well-worked corner ends up at Louis Marsh's feet. And it's a great shot from outside the 18-yard box, but the goalkeeper makes a good save. Good shot, good save. What's expected from it? And that's half time. And positives and negatives that I took from that first half was I didn't mind Burrows playing in the midfield and dictating play for us. I'm not saying he dictated the play in the whole match, but he certainly dictated the play for us in that midfield, coming short and starting things off. I think he could do a job there. if we really, really needed him to, especially when he's dictating play to players like O'Hare and Gus Harmer and players like that. So it was a nice little experiment that I think went well. But what can you do when you've got a load of players around you that are either youngsters in poor form, not getting games? You can only do as well as especially in that position. You get the ball, you don't lose it, and you find somebody further up the field, and that's what he did tonight. And I really, really liked watching him, especially in that first half. I thought Louis Marsh linked up quite well in that sort of attacking midfield role, second striker, if you like. And again, I mentioned it earlier, Ryan One, I thought he was dominant up top, knocking his players off the ball. And it was really, really nice to see from the lad because, yeah, I have got high hopes of Ryan One. And I think everybody who just looks at him, Nathan Blake said it, and I can't stand Nathan Blake, to be perfectly honest, but Nathan Blake said it in his co-coms. He said he absolutely loves Ryan One because of his stature. And I think he kept going on about that. And I'm thinking, have you even seen him play football? Like, everybody thinks that Ryan One just looks the part, and he certainly does because he's, I don't know how tall he is, but he must be at least 6'2". He's absolutely built, and he can move, and that's what you need, isn't it? Really, you need strength, speed, and to put yourself about, and he certainly has all those going for him. Let's just hope he can put it all together and score some goals, because we've certainly had some, let's say, some potential at striker, potential youngsters that are coming through as strikers that haven't really hit the ground running. And in other news, Jebberson's left Watford, which is probably expected. Negatives from the first half, we couldn't find Brooks at all in that first half. He was just all on his own on that right-hand side, didn't really get the ball at all. Second half, he got the ball a little bit more, and yeah, the less said about that, the better. I've mentioned it earlier, Reece Davis and Baptiste looking very shaky at the back together, and Reece Davis obviously led to their goal. We won't go through all the stats and stuff like that because I don't think people are that bothered. Just let's talk about some of the attacks that we had. So we certainly came out of the blocks a little bit quicker than Cardiff, or certainly a little bit quicker than what I expected us to from the first half. In the first 51st minute, Blacker into One, but he's a bit off balance and his strike is comfortably saved. It was a lovely little flick inside. But yeah, when you're off balance, it's always going to be difficult to get the connection that you really, really wanted. And the goalkeeper got down quickly and made a good save. Bruce had a lot of shots tonight. He had one in the first half that landed to him that he was falling backwards and put over the bar. He had one in the second half as well that's just escaped my memory, but that wasn't a very good one either. Yeah, it wasn't a good night for Brewster either. I feel like not many of the senior players stepped up tonight and were countered. Like Brooks, you've got to call him a senior player now, especially how well he's been playing recently. Andre Brooks was poor tonight. Brewster was poor tonight. Gilchrist was okay for the most part. I wanted to see him impose himself on the game a little bit more and lead by example. McCallum was okay, but again, not good enough to lead by example as senior member of the team. Like I said, I thought Louis Marsh, Blacker, and One were the better players on the pitch for us. One's got a really poor rating from Flashscore. I think that must be the second half where he wasn't really involved too much. But I do think he didn't get the service that he needed, especially when we're 1-0 down. He should be getting lots more service. In the 61st minute, great work down the right. Burrows lays it into Brewster's feet beautifully. Brewster pushes it to one side and gets a good shot away, but the keeper makes a really, really smart save low down. This ball into Brewster is beautiful from Burrows. He almost like gets the ball and he sees Brewster in his peripheral vision. I've never said peripheral vision, said it twice now, so well. Normally, profiteroles is in my head and it's an amalgamation of both. But he gets the ball, sees Brewster just in the corner of his eye, flicks it through to him. Brewster really should have got this out of his feet quicker onto his right and smash, but he somehow kind of loses it under his feet, then goes to the left. And They double up on him, and then he goes to his right. He gets away, gets the shot away. It's a good effort, not in the corner enough, and the goalkeeper makes a good save. There's a lot of these Brewster chances that the fine margins where they're just not quite in the corner enough for the goalkeeper not to have a chance, or they're not even in the corner at all. Like with the strike that was fantastic, that if it's either right or left of the goalkeeper, it's in the back of the net, and it's just not really going for Brewster, is it? That's his bread and butter, really. It's getting the ball out of his feet and having a really good shot. And he had a couple of those tonight, but they just weren't quite good enough. And again, you've got to lead by example. And if that's what you bring to the table, you've got to be scoring these goals, Ryan. In the 66th minute was the best moment of the game for me. The ball's played, I think it's come from a corner, and it gets played away from the Blades box. And Andre Brooks and the referee both run across each other and trip each other up. It's absolutely fantastic. If you get a chance to go back and watch that, please do. It's so funny. It's not just them bumping into each other and falling over. Their legs entwine and they just deck it simultaneously. It's fantastic. However, if Brooks has got injured for the season, it's not fantastic. I take it all back, and yeah, I apologise. But it was really funny to watch. It really was. But you never know with our injury, our recent injury history, should I say. In the 85th minute, Adam Davies comes for a cross. It's a really, really well taken cross. And then he somehow, one of the Cardiff players runs in front of him. He just like elbows him to the head. It actually looks a little bit more like a forearm smash. But it's just ridiculous. Like Nathan Blake said, it's GBH, but like, give over, mate. It's just a really silly thing to do. And yeah, he's probably getting a little bit frustrated. I think Adam Davies had a good game. There's not much else he could have done in this game. I think the goal, like I said earlier, he kind of left a little bit of a gap on the left-hand side of him, the right-hand side of the attacker, for him to pass the ball into. But other than that, he made some really smart saves. He came and took crosses. No worries about Adam Davies. And if he had to step in for any league game for whatever reason, I don't think he would do too much of a bad job. So in the end of the day, we were playing a championship team tonight. So yeah, I think he had a really good game other than that moment of madness where he forearm smashed their player. And then the 87th minute, this is the only one that I'm really going to talk about as in fantastic play. And it's Burrows again. He's taking the game by the scruff of the neck here, and it's a bit late to do that. But it's the first time he really got into a good place to shoot, and he takes it on with his right foot. He almost kind of like players are all running around him. He's dropping the shoulder. He's giving him a bit of a scissor. He's going inside, comes inside onto his right foot. And I'm thinking, why is he shooting from such a distance with his right foot? But he curls this shot almost perfectly, hits the outside of the post, of course lands to one of the Cardiff City players. And that is practically the end of the game for us. The last big chance for us. Well, you can't call it a big chance. The XG is probably 0.02 or something like that. But it was a great effort. Unfortunately, the wrong side of the post. Even if it's the inside of the post, there's a chance of it going in or going across the box for somebody to tap in. But unfortunately, hits the outside of the post, doesn't land to one of our players, and that's it. There was a few corners into the box and throw-ins in from Jack Robinson, but Adam Davies got himself forward, which is always good to see. I don't care who you are, what team you support, everybody... Sorry about that. Everybody wants to see a goalkeeper come up for a corner or a throw-in, and there's that jeopardy of maybe them scoring a goal or maybe the other team going the other end and scoring a goal. Not quite often, neither happens, but there's always that jeopardy, and it's really fun to watch. Again, nothing happened both times that Davies came up, but yeah, that's the end of the game. I'd love to go through some of your comments right now. Let's have a see what people are saying. See if people are agreeing with me. It's fine if you don't. One thing I do want to say, and the reason why I've thought of it, Ian Smith, sloppy enough said. Do you know how many poor passes tonight? How many times did we give the ball away when we didn't need to? Shocking. Absolutely shocking football tonight. And if I'd have counted, I'm sure there would have been 15 or 20 really poor passes. Gilchrist did 2 late on. Baptiste, Norrington Davis, McCallum early on in the game. I counted 2 or 3 where he just gave the ball away. Brooks, there was one corner where we'd obviously worked on it in training. It's a pass, pass, pass. And then Brooks gets the ball on that kind of right-hand side to whip the ball in or do something else with it. And he just like kind of twists, turns, falls over it, and then they're away. And this happened way too many times in this game tonight. I know I've moaned a lot. I know I've moaned a hell of a lot. And I know this is not the team. Maybe Gilchrist is the only player, maybe Brooks. Maybe 2 players out of this whole side will be playing against Norwich. Maybe 0 players. Gilchrist will play. But yeah, I know I'm moaning a lot, but it's just life, isn't it? You've got to say what's on your mind. Not worth discussing at all, Eric. Okay, right, let's end the stream now, shall we? Money messing. Jesus Christ, that was awful. Danoramics, very, very good name. Glad I didn't go this evening. Same, to be honest. Now, me and my mate Ewan quite often, I go to all the home games, season ticket with my family. I go to a lot of the cup games with my mate Ewan because we've had a few cup runs where, you know, we're kind of each other's lucky penny, if you like. And he messaged me saying, do you want to go to this game? And with it being so soon after my missus has had a baby, I didn't even want to risk it, which I mentioned earlier on in the stream. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't go tonight. It's freezing cold. I don't mind it. I love going to night games. I love getting wrapped up and it being freezing cold. That's the whole point of football. That's what I've been brought up on, really. We live in England, for God's sake, don't we? So, but yeah, I am actually still glad I didn't go. Embarrassing, says Stephen. Not wrong. Well, that was crap. Yeah, Anthony, sorry, whichever one you prefer. You're right. Chris, Nick, welcome back. Hope the new edition is doing better than we did tonight. She actually had a vest that said, I'm watching United with my daddy, which is beautiful. And my mate bought me, he was a Wolves fan. So, yeah, thank you, Butters. I appreciate that, mate. Yep. Yep. Everyone right. Cardiff report, we had enough to take that game. If we'd gone forward instead of side to side and backwards, we might have got something. I do quite often think Brewster is a little bit negative when he gets the ball quite deep. It's a lot of passing backwards, where you just want to see him do something. And he did do something on that left-hand side where he dropped his shoulder and he were away. And I want to see more from Brewster like that. Interesting that Wilder did not bring on any of his big guns. Chris, I cannot believe that. I thought he'd at least brought on maybe O'Hare. I don't know. Was Harmer on the bench? I seem to think he was. Oh, he wasn't. Okay. Oh, wait. Yes, he was on the bench. Sorry, I was looking at the first team. Yeah, Harmer was on the bench. Looking at the bench right now, I'd expect to have seen Callum O'Hare come on. I understand why he's not brought him on or brought Gus on. I certainly wouldn't have risked Gus. Definitely not. I possibly would have brought Callum O'Hare on just to kind of link play and try and find that killer pass. But obviously it wasn't to be. He brought on Jack Robinson. That's a forced substitution. He brought on Hampson and Colachin. Sorry, if you're watching, Sam Colachin, I'm sorry if I've absolutely butchered your name. I really do apologize. Let us know let us know how you say it. Just let us know. But it's nice to see the youngsters coming on. But when people have paid to go and see Sheffield United play, they expect to see the players that they want to see. But I get why Wilder didn't want to risk anyone. I probably wouldn't have risked anyone. So I'm just thinking about those that were froze to death in the South Stand or the John Street tonight. It was a non-event in Cardiff where were an easy pick up the bookies, up at the book. Why can't I read? It was a non-event and Cardiff were an easy pick up at the bookies. Yeah, absolutely right, Lee. Wasn't bothered, should play all the kids because kids who came in were bad anyway. I think that's what he's trying to say. Congratulations on the birth of your child, Nick. Thank you very much, Doug. I really appreciate that, mate. I really, really do. It's incredible. It really is. I think we had 4 chances. They were that were really good, but all went straight. Yeah, it went straight at the goalkeeper. All of them did, really, didn't they? Didn't really have to do a lot to save those shots tonight. Judging from the subs, mainly kids, it's clear to me that Chris Wilder and co had no intention of winning. The 6,000 Blades fans who turned up were well and truly conned. Yeah, possibly right, Joe. Dreadful. Lots of young players with passion and no fear, but did the same as the first half. Lots of sideways and backwards play. Are they Wilder's preferred tactics? I just sometimes think that these sorts of players that come in just a little bit nervous and don't want to not make a fool of themselves, but they don't want to lose the ball too many times, because then that sticks in the mind of fans and coaching staff and stuff like that. So if you don't make too many mistakes, you've got more chance of making the first team again, if you know what I mean. I think that's how they probably see it, or maybe just a little bit nervous about making mistakes. I get it. I do get it. I can see United even making. I can't see anything making the playoffs if we're playing like that. Very, very poor. Anthony, we weren't playing the first 11. Like, if the first 11 play like that, agreed. But yeah, I don't think there's any need to worry about that. Bruce has a long-term future at the club. Has no long-term future club. Fair enough. I was a little bit confused then. Don't fret. That was stage managed. Yes, Phil. Yes. Worst player tonight, surprisingly, McCallum for me. Sloppy in possession and far too many misplaced passes. Do you know what, Chris? You might be right, but also I think that when lots of players are bad, you kind of remember certain balls that are given away, and when it's a certain player doing it a few times, like for instance, I was disappointed with Brooks, and I thought Brooks was one of the worst players on the pitch, but Brooks got a 7 out of 10, whereas McCallum got a 6.8, Baptiste 6.7, Gilchrist 6.7. There were a lot of players. One, who I thought impressed tonight, got a 6.3. So I think it's just how you look at it and how the things that stick in your mind, to be perfectly honest. I think McCallum was better in the second half. Brewster should be off. He's useless. Fair enough, Ian. No real urgency. You can tell FA Cup was not a priority. Too right, Sadat. Slightly heartbreaking that the magic of the FA Cup is long gone. You're not wrong. It doesn't matter. We should have turned up and didn't. Yeah. It is really sad that the FA Cup's no longer a priority. We should be taking more shots from distance. Yeah, possibly. A couple of shots tonight went really close, with the Brewster one where the goalkeeper saved from distance, and obviously the one that hit the post from Burrows. Brewster and Marsh poor. Right, okay. See, I thought Marsh played okay. The hype for R&D needs to stop. Yeah, I've never really been on the hype train for Reece Davies. I think it's time to sell Reece Davies and Brewster. Well, Brewster's contract is up at the end of the season, so yeah. If he doesn't have a good end to the season, I think we'll be waving goodbye anyway. It was terrible to watch. Too many mistakes, but a learning curve. Too right, Gaza, the voice of reason. Cardiff fan here. What has happened to the FA Cup? It's so dead. Yeah, 6,000 Blades and Cardiff fans. I'm definitely not blaming Cardiff fans tonight. 6,000 Blades fans there is really poor. And myself, I didn't go, so I can't really moan at people, can I? Cardiff fans. Cardiff knew we had nothing dangerous up top, so let us have the majority of the ball in the second half, just as Sunderland did. Yeah, absolutely. I could not agree with that more. Just hope we do get promoted, that the Deadwood get gone. Yeah, agree. Yeah, totally. Very poor. I don't think Chris Wilder was bothered about it with the side he put out. Yep, agreed. Very, very poor. Lots of those players need to give their heads a wobble. Norrington Davis should be released. Norrington Davis got given a new contract in the summer, and I was really, really surprised at that. We were poor all over the pitch tonight. Reece Davis, shocking mistake, losing the ball, and wayward passes all night. Cardiff just snubbed us all night. Very disappointing. The attendance team sheets, kickoff times, the greatest cup competition on its last leg. Yeah, 7 p.m. What is that all about? The Prem ruined the Cup. That's where the big money is, too right. Ruined by powers that be and greedy clubs. Can't risk the players getting injured. The team Wilder put out have the ability to win that game, but didn't gel. Too many mistakes. I think you're actually right. I do. We've got some really, really good youngsters they need to step up too, in all honesty. If you want to kind of rip that shirt off somebody else, Illiman and I wouldn't be sitting around just like letting other players do what he literally took a contract and ran the team the season after. So just because they're young players, it doesn't mean that they're not good enough. They need to step up too. Cardiff brought 150 of possibly some of the most loyal fans in all of Wales, and they were rewarded tonight. Fair enough. Fair enough. You deserved it completely. Passing was particularly poor. I think we had 4 chances which we should have certainly made him work harder for. They were pretty much straight at him, too right. 7 changes for Cardiff were mostly youth players, to be honest. Fair enough, Daniel. Thank you for that. What a disgrace. The 6,000 supporters deserve better. Cardiff were far more alert and did what they needed to do. Fair play to them. We were so poor, constantly giving the ball away and hesitating in the Cardiff half. Only positive was Baptiste. See, I thought he was poor. I thought he was really poor. What I will say about people waxing lyrical about Cardiff tonight, I think they were very wasteful. And I think they could have won the game 2 or 3-0. They had lots and lots of chances where they were breaking on us, where we were playing sloppy passes, and they should have done a lot better. It could have been 3-0 tonight. It really could, and that would have been embarrassing. So it's a good job that Cardiff aren't that good. They were better than us, but they're not that good. Clubs should have done a deal, £1 for youngsters to get in shocking attendance. That's a great idea. That should have happened. That should happen a lot more as well. The players weren't the issue tonight. The tactics were. Okay, fair enough. Ashford was man of the match for me. 17 should go for that lad. Yeah. Shocking. No one seemed up for it. I would have laughed if Adam Davis had scored, but teams are far better off winning or losing rather than drawing at 90 minutes with a fitness point of view. Yeah, you're not wrong. Ashford, one to look out for. Aren't the cup games not straight to penalty kicks? Replays have been scrapped. I think what he was trying to say was the fact that you get another 30 minutes, don't you? It's probably better to win or lose in 90 than go to, another 30 minutes and then penalty kicks, unless they are just straight to pens. Sorry, I misread your message as well there, Chris. I thought it went to extra time, but I might be wrong. It was almost like they'd been told to play at 60%. Only look good when we picked the pace up, and when it's slow players have too much time to think and they don't seem to be good at that. I think you're right. Sometimes you just need to take a chance. Early second half, they've revved up a little bit. Profiteroles, I can't say meatball marinara from Subway. I struggled then, to be honest, Chris. Only one player worth watching tonight. Baptiste looks sound. Oh, my word. Really? Have I got this all wrong? Brewster always shoots straight at the keeper. So frustrating. Like the screen, guys. Thank you very much, Chris. Make sure you like the video before you go. Really would appreciate that. 152 watching, only 23 likes. Come on, guys. Thank you, Beardman. Really appreciate that, mate. Brewster must be one of the worst investments in the club's history. He's on about 35k a week. I don't know how much he's on, but he must be on quite a bit. I'm sure that dropped when we got relegated from the Premier League, but I'm sure he's on quite a bit. Disappointing result. It was like men versus boys for long periods, but credit to Cardiff and the following that made the long journey. I enjoy their company in the Weatherspoons on Ecky Road. Oh, it's great when two sets of football fans come together. Thought Gilchrist had a terrible game. I agree. Another goal given away. Baptiste, decent debut. The rest poor, and felt for the 6,000 who paid to watch it. Can't even beat crappy Cardiff. Oh my God, pathetic. What excuse is Wilder going to make up tonight? Bruce is a waste of space. Please leave the club. Another person saying Baptiste had a good debut. It was only 10 tonight, just a bit chilly. Few malts in my hip flask sorted that out. I won't tell everyone that, Walter. FA Treat Cup as second-rate competition. Thursday night draw. No longer Mondays at 12. Why should clubs care? Concentrate on the league. Harmer gonna Leeds, definitely. We're signing Charlie Savage from Reading too to replace Harmer. What a load of rubbish, Andy. What a load of rubbish. I can't even, yeah. I'll do a few more comments, then we'll leave because we are 40 minutes into this video. Are you worried by the lack of transfer movement 9 days into the window when we're stretched this thin? Yes and no. Yes and no. Like, if by the end of January we've only picked up a couple of players and they aren't filling us with confidence, then yes, that's terrible. That's really bad. But I'm not worried too much. I would like to see us have got players in already. And I'd like to have seen us do what kind of Luton and Burnley had done and literally had players ready to walk through the door when it came to New Year's Day. Really surprised that that didn't happen. And like you say, we are well into the window, 9 days into the window. Things should have got sorted earlier on. And I know things happen, and I know it's hard to make these transfers happen, but we should have had at least a couple lined up, ready to go. And even if they are lined up and ready to go and they take a few more days to get over the line, we're 9 days in, we're over a week in. So, yeah, I agree. I sort of agree, Chris. Thank you, John. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. It's been a great few days. It really has. Brooks McCallum, Norrington Davis, shocking tonight. Young kids did well. Future is bright, but some first team need a kick in the bottom. What I will say is I absolutely adore Owen Hampson. And I was really disappointed that he only got a few minutes off the bench. So, yeah, I expected Hampson to start tonight because I really highly rate that kid. And I hope he goes on loan soon and shows what he can do in maybe League Two or League One because he's a big talent. Shaw Bruce won a competition to become a pro footballer. Right, Mark, I'm not reading too much into this. However, the real shame was that this is a real opportunity for the starting 11 to make their mark. Look at Peck. However, no one made a strong claim. You're absolutely right. One 6'3". Ray Charles clearly giving ratings out, pal. Right, I'm going to quickly run through a few more before we go. Let's hope that Burnley, Leeds and Sunderland reach the later stage of the FA Cup. That is always a thought, isn't it? It's always a thought. Congratulations on the new arrival, Nick. Reserve team passed the ball well up to the final third, wobbled beyond that, didn't have experienced players. Yeah, absolutely agree. And thank you very much. Appreciate that. Normally ask for man of the match on, yeah, not tonight. Don't do it, Keith. Don't do it. You're just going to get a lot of hate. This shows the gap between the first and the second team. I'll be honest, I thought that was the third team tonight. If we're talking about how good these players are, I think that's the third squad. Matt, on a more positive note, congrats on the baby, Nick. Your missus and baby are doing well. Another blade to suffer with us. Yeah, I might tell her to go and support someone else, if I'm being honest. I've already kind of got my son being a blade, and when United are playing or when any football's on the TV, he's like, go on, Blades. He's 2.5. He doesn't know what he's talking about, but no, it's nice to see. So he's locked in. Does she deserve this? What we're going through? Possibly not, but it will happen nonetheless. Congratulations. Thank you, Simon. Really appreciate that, mate. Baptiste wasn't too bad. Dull game. We're out onto the league. Yeah, too right. Let's leave it there, I think. I completely forgot the game was on tonight, which shows how much I cared. We knew the squad was thin. This just reinforces the need for more quality. Well done, Nick. Didn't think you had it. Didn't think you... Wait, let me read that again. Rewind. Well done, Nick. Didn't think you had it in you for 2 kids, pal. Fair enough. I think that's it. Yeah, clearly I have got it in me. And maybe in the future, that might be a regret for having 2 kids because, yeah, 1 sounded a lot easier than 2, but we will... love them and cherish them nonetheless. Louis sounds more screwed on that most of the Blades fans. Fantastic, Chris. Yeah, he probably is. In all honesty, he's got his head screwed on, and a lot of our fans sometimes don't. Anyway, let's leave it there. I really appreciate. Thank you, everybody, for the congratulations on the birth of my child, my second child, should I say? Got a boy and a girl now, which is just wonderful. I'm loving life. New house, finally bought a house as well. So yeah, to be honest, this game was secondary to what's happened recently. It's only the FA Cup. There's lots more games to win this season. We're just out of both cups, so we can concentrate on the league, as they always say. Mickey Mouse Cup, anyway, isn't it? Thank you very much for watching and listening, ladies and gentlemen. If you're over on your podcast platforms, I will catch up with you very, very soon. You've got me back. I am back for good. I'm in the new house and I have internet. That was always the problem. That was the reason why I wasn't doing videos. So thank you for watching. I'll catch up with you soon. Have a great one. Up the Blades.
He leads us all the way, playing proper football, the Sheff United way. Ole, ole, ole.